Gujarat and Mumbai, with both sides looking to secure their first points in the current season. Not just this, Elon Musk's making waves with his latest acquisition, and last but not the least, US Embassy in India that is cracking down on visa applications. We have this and a lot more that is packed into tonight's show. Let's get started with what's trending with me, Suesha Sawant. US President Donald Trump, who has hinted at a likely India-US trade deal in the working, showering praise upon good friend Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Trump described him as a very smart man. The 47th US president, who went on to add the deal is going to work out very well between India and US as the world awaits for the reciprocal tariff announcement on the 2nd of April. Possibilities of India getting a sweeter deal or having a minimal macro impact seems likely. To speak on this, we have with us Kishore Subramaniam. Mr. Subramaniam, thank you for speaking to us. Can the Trump-Modi bonhomie realistically sweeten the deal for India when it comes to tariff imposition at a time when they look to strengthen bilateral ties?
Give some leeway to America and in certain areas put your foot down. Remember, America is as much dependent on India today, whether it's for intellectual manpower, whether it's for consumption, whether it's a pure marketplace for products produced in America. So remember, globally, nobody can say we are decoupled completely. There is a lot of interdependence, and India's response to America is going to be threefold. One, tough negotiations. Two, some leeway. Three, do not lose the friendship for the sake of tariffs. Ensure that you are ahead of the curve with every other nation who is competing to be close to America. Because lest we forget, America is still a superpower and the dollar is the strongest currency. It will be a super two-faced response, a mixed bag response, and posturing will signal we stand with America. And that's what I think will happen. There will be tough negotiations, hard bargains, and finally, both the parties will give something away on the table for the other player.
All right, thank you for speaking to us tonight. On the other hand, Indian markets that brace for potential disruptions, while sectors like auto and pharma may face short-term pressure. Economists suggest India's domestic-driven economy is likely to brace for the long-term impact. Further, FII inflows, strong demand, RBI support that could all aid in cushioning the volatility. However, the question on everyone's mind is that will Indian indices withstand the aftershock of Trump's fresh tariffs? My colleague Rajat Mishra, who spoke with Kotak Mahindra's MD Nilesh Shah to delve deeper into this, let's listen in to what he said.
Sir, let's talk about the elephant in the room. We know April 2, which is a Liberation Day, as announced by Donald Trump. Several tariffs are on the way across the world. The markets are jittery. Global economy is jittery. What is your sense where the markets are going to go ahead after April 2?
So one, it's difficult to predict President Trump. Probably President Trump himself doesn't know what he's going to do next. There's no point in trying to predict him. The best thing in our hand is to react post what has happened. When President Trump was elected and not yet sworn in as a president, one of the global CEO who was here in India, his advice was to follow President Trump's action and not just the words. I think on 2nd April US time, 3rd April India time. We'll have to see what action has been taken rather than try to anticipate what action will be taken. I just hope and pray that while calculating relationship with India, US gives weightage to security. Imagine if all the software which Indians wrote for America was actually written in China. Today, America would have been dealing with unprecedented security risk. Their planes will drop dead from the sky, their trains will stop, their banking system will be vulnerable, their power grid will be shut at the will of China. Today, thanks to the programming by Indians, they don't have to worry about security risk. While imposing tariff, they must remember the security risk which they are carrying. कहीं ऐसा नहीं हो कि दरवाजे खुले रह जाए और सिर्फ नाली के ऊपर वो डिब्बा लगाए.
Meanwhile, European Union that is identifying concessions it's willing to make to Donald Trump's administration to secure the partial removal of the US tariffs that have already started hitting the bloc's exports and that are set to proliferate. While Trump is reportedly open to carving out deals with countries seeking to avoid US tariffs, this is the only possibility post the 2nd of April announcement. To give us the latest on this, my colleague Rajat Mishra, who joins us with perspective into this. Over to you, Rajat.
Yes, Suesha. So what we know that April 2, which is a Liberation Day as far as Donald Trump announcement is concerned, is going to announce the tariffs. But today also he has asked his advisors to go aggressive as far as tariff announcements are concerned. But what the ramification of it, the worldwide, the economies are asking for some sort of a relaxation and trying to seal a best deal that they can as far as the US administration is concerned. So what we are picking up is the European Union is identifying certain areas and also identifying concessions as far as the tariffs are concerned to give to the US. But when we talk about what the Donald Trump stance is, Donald Trump has clearly said that tariffs will be announced on 2nd of April and all the negotiation, bilateral negotiations with the countries to have the minimal impact of the tariffs will be done only after the tariffs will be announced. So this is a kind of a situation where the countries are trying to mollify the Trump and they're trying to offer the concessions so that the impact of the tariffs that are going to be announced in a second will be minimal on the economies. But the Trump is not stopping anywhere. He has already told his advisors to go as aggressive as you can as far as the tariff announcements on the April 2 are concerned, Suesha.
All right, Rajat, we'll come back to you for further updates as and when they come in. For the moment, we move on. On to our next trending story. Yes, horrendous pictures that emerged from Mandalay city in Myanmar, where a devastating earthquake that has left a trail of destruction. On your screens, you see how the city is reduced to rubble, with buildings that once stood tall are now lying in ruins. Fallen trees blocking the streets, debris that is scattered everywhere, making it difficult to even navigate. The visuals that show you how people are desperate to escape the danger zone, the clear state of panic that is evident, and many who are frantic and frightened. Emergency services are scrambling to respond, but the scale of the disaster that is overwhelming. Death toll continues to mount with over 1,000 people killed already. This as earthquakes continue to jolt Myanmar in quick succession, with the latest one measured at 4.3 magnitude on the Richter scale. Meanwhile, India is stepping up to help Myanmar in a big way with yesterday's devastating earthquake. As a first responder, India's Operation Brahma that is bringing much needed relief to those affected. The first batch of aid that weighs about 15 tons that has already landed in Yangon. This initial trench that includes essentials like tents, blankets, sleeping bags, food packets, hygiene kits, generators, and vital medicines. And that's not all. 2 more Indian Air Force aircrafts that were loaded with relief material have also departed, bringing even more critical supplies to those in need. And time now for hot trends in a zippy view. Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife Usha Vance, who made a visit to U.S. military base in Greenland, sitting down with troops at Pituffik military base for lunch. This visit that is scaled back version of their initial 3-day trip plans, which didn't go over well with the Greenlanders and Danish people. They were pretty upset that the trip was announced without consulting them in the first place. Russia has unveiled its latest naval powerhouse, the Perm, a nuclear-powered submarine armed with hypersonic Zircon missiles. President Vladimir Putin launched a Yasin M-class submarine at the Arctic port of Murmansk, hailing it as a milestone for the Russian Navy. The Perm boasts Zircon hypersonic cruise missiles capable of traveling over 5 times the speed of sound. On the diplomatic front, President Putin, who is making headlines yet again, this time with a proposed peace plan for Ukraine. Putin has suggested a temporary administration and potential assistance from North Korea and other Russian allies to bring an end to the 3-year war launched by Moscow in February 2022. Elon Musk is at it again. He announced that his AI startup xAI, that has acquired X, formerly Twitter, in an all-stock deal worth $45 billion, including debt. This move values xAI at a whopping $80 billion. US President Trump was beaming with praise for a reporter who asked a question that clearly struck a chord. Trump, without missing a beat, says, "I love this guy." This whole interaction on your screens.
You and your team apprehended a top 3 leader in the violent gang MS-13 yesterday, just 30 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. What has made you and your team so effective in finding, locating, apprehending, and deporting these violent, illegal migrants?
I love this guy. I wish more people would ask questions like that, but it's really an unforced error because these people were allowed into this country. They shouldn't have been in this country. They would have never been in this country. We're getting rid of some of the worst criminals in the world. But Pam and the whole group, and Cash, who's here, and it's so good to have him. I see him all over. He's working 24 hours a day, but the job they've done is incredible.
Reaffirming his position on Greenland, U.S. President Donald Trump, who said that the United States needs Greenland for international security peace, he went on to add that these Chinese and Russian ships in the area that Washington could not leave to Denmark for anyone else to take care of.
We need Greenland, very importantly, for international security. We have to have Greenland. It's not a question of, do you think we can do without it? We can. If you look at Greenland right now, if you look at the waterways, you have Chinese and Russian ships all over the place. And we're not going to be able to do that. We're not relying on Denmark or anybody else to take care of that situation.
As authorities continue to investigate the attack on the Vegas Tesla Collision Center, 36-year-old Pao Kim, who was arrested for firebombing several vehicles at the Tesla Collision Center in the Southwest Center, Kim appeared in federal court on Thursday and later for a detention hearing. The judge has ordered the detention hearing to continue on Monday. On to our next trending story. In today's IPL showdown, local favourites Gujarat will lock horns with Hardik Pandya-led Mumbai, with both sides looking to secure their first points in the current season. Tonight's game that surely promises to be a showdown IPL fans would not want to miss. The track record seems to be in favour of Shubman Gill, led Gujarat squad, as his side has secured victory thrice among the 5 times they've faced each other. Gujarat and Mumbai IPL teams that are all set for a fierce clash at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad, the venue that offers batting-friendly conditions which could result in a high-scoring encounter. This was also evident in the first match of IPL 2025 that was played here, the hard and dry track that ensures a balanced contest between bat and ball, with clear skies in the forecast. An existing match on the cards. With regular skipper of Mumbai Indians set to take the field, all eyes would be on Hardik Pandya among star players like Rohit Sharma and Trent Bolt. Meanwhile, Gujarat would look to dominate, making strategy use of Rashid Khan and Shubman Gill. To speak who between the two sides would finally open the account on the IPL points table, we have with us Shane, joining us from the digital news floor. Shane, what's your guess?
I mean, your guess is as good as mine in this case, Suyesha, because both of these teams, be it the Gujarat Titans, with the Mumbai Indians, can sometimes be slow starters. Mumbai in particular have made it a bit of a habit of starting slow, then picking up momentum in the second half of the season. As it wears on, then they'll pick up points. Of course, this match in many ways, we're talking about a returning Hardik Pandya, has been dubbed by certain fans as the Hardik Pandya derby, because of course Pandya led Gujarat Titans to the IPL title in 2022 and a runners-up showing as well in 2023 before rather unceremoniously leaving for the Mumbai Indians, a move that did not gain him a lot of popularity across India and of course in Ahmedabad and in Mumbai as well. So it will be a lot of eyes on Hardik. He missed the first match with the suspension, but if I have to make a prediction, I'd say Gujarat are slight favourites because this is not looking like so far the traditional kind of an Ahmedabad pitch. Ahmedabad is known to be an absolute belter, a batting paradise, but this looks like a pitch that could slow down. So Gujarat batting first may very well have a little bit of an advantage. Back to you, Suyesha.
All right, Shane, many thanks for, of course, putting that into perspective as fans are glued to watching what the match will entail. And moving on to Fast Takes, the search for life on Mars that has captivated scientists for decades, a new revelation from NASA's Curiosity rover that is stirring up even more excitement. Yes, it has detected the largest organic compounds ever found on Mars, potentially pointing to signs of Martian life. Ahead of the possible cameo from Orion spacecraft, the Artemis 2 crew members who shared up-close visuals of getting up of the Space Launch System at Kennedy Space Center, among several of those amazing sights. At least 3 people died, 200 have been rescued following severe storms that moved across the southern part of Texas. Heavy rainfall that subsided last night along the Texas-Mexico border, yet rescue operations that continued following severe storms that trapped residents, stranded vehicles, and closed an airport. US Embassy in India cancelled over 2,000 visa applications. This comes after the embassy detected major violations in the appointment system by bad actors, quote-unquote, or bots, and suspended their accounts. Sharing a hard-hitting message on X, the embassy stated it has zero tolerance for agents and fixers that violate their scheduling policies.
Effective immediately, we are canceling those appointments, and we are suspending the associated accounts scheduling privileges. We will continue our anti-fraud efforts. We have zero tolerance for fraud.
MS Dhoni's decision to bat at number 9 for Chennai Super Kings in the match against Royal Challengers Bengaluru has left fans and experts scratching their heads. Despite scoring a quick-fire 32 off 16 balls, Dhoni's late cameo wasn't enough to save CSK from a 50-run loss. Fans took to social media to express their disappointment and frustration with Dhoni's batting position. Ruturaj Gaikwad's post-match comments after CSK's 50-run loss to RCB has irked fans. In a bizarre statement, Gaikwad expressed happiness that his team did not lose by an even bigger margin. Gaikwad attributed the loss to a bad day in the field and acknowledged that chasing 20 extra runs on a sticky wicket required a different batting approach. However, his attempt to find a silver lining has fallen flat with the fans. China has deployed private security firms in Pakistan to safeguard its workers and citizens amid rising threats. This move comes in response to the growing threats from the Baloch Liberation Army, which has carried out multiple attacks on the Pakistani military and Chinese nationals in the past. Prime Minister Mark Carney was visibly shocked after being asked about his alleged involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. The incident that took place during a campaign stop where a heckler posed the question, how many kids did Carney molest with Jeffrey Epstein?
Honnêtement.
A massive fire that swept through the slums near Basai Chowk in Gurugram, Haryana early Saturday morning, reducing around 100 huts to ashes. Thankfully, no casualties were reported, but the massive blaze that left many families without homes. After YouTuber Ranveer Ilahabadia and comedian Samir Raina, who continue to face backlash over their remarks in the latent row, another comedian, Swati Sachdeva, who has drawn the attention of netizens. This comes after she made a controversial joke about her parents in one of her shows. With that, we come to the end of this show as I leave you with these visuals of the mechanized forces of Bogra Brigade displaying their combat skills in the deserts of Rajasthan. They validated their firing standards and demonstrated battle readiness through a rigorous training exercise aptly titled Advancing with Assurance. Watch these pictures as I say goodbye.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
टीम